Hello guys, in this video we are going to discuss the solution of the problem water the plants. So let us look at the problem statement. The problem statement says that we are given a gallery with plants which is divided into n parts 0 to n minus 1. There are provisions for attaching water sprinkles in every division. A sprinkler with range x at division I can water all division from I minus x to I plus x. Fine. Given an array gallery consisting of n integers where gallery I is the range of a sprinkler at partition I, return the minimum number of sprinklers that need to be turned on to water the entire gallery. If there is no possible way to water the full length using the given sprinklers, print -1. So let us try to understand the problem statement with the help of an example. So let us take the example. So in the example, we are given n is equals to 6 and a gallery array is given to us, and the gallery array contains 6 elements and the values are -1, 2, 2, -1, 0 and 0. So these are the 6 elements. So let me just number the indexes as well, 4 and 5. So what this simply means is basically -1 simply means that at this position there isn't any sprinkler. So sprinkler is not installed. -1 represents that. Okay. 2 over here simply means that this sprinkler can water two galleries adjacent to its left as well as to its right. So what it simply means is basically the sprinkler attached at gallery 1, the value is 2, so it can water or it can sprinkle till 2, so 1 plus 2 which is 3, and it can also sprinkle till this point which is 1 minus 2 is -1. Okay. Similarly, when we are saying that at this position at gallery 2 we have installed a sprinkler of range 2, that simply means from 2 it will be able to sprinkle till 4. 2 plus 2 is 4, right? And from here to its left it can sprinkle it to 0, which is 2 minus 2 is 0. Okay. -1 simply means it cannot sprinkle, or we have not installed a sprinkler there. And 0 simply represents basically a sprinkler is installed which is of range just itself. So here it will be able to sprinkle itself only. Similarly for 5 also it will be able to sprinkle itself. Okay. So this is what it means, like n is equals to 6, the number of galleries which we have. At each gallery, what is the whether a sprinkle is installed or not, that is something which is given to us. And if it is installed, then what is the range of that sprinkle? Okay, and the range is something which I have explained it here. Now given this condition, the objective is to find the minimum number of sprinkles which need to be turned on in order to sprinkle the entire gallery. So let us look at one possible solution for this. So in our case, let us say if I enable or turn on what all sprinklers am I supposed to turn on? Let us say I am turning out a sprinkle which is attached at gallery 2 and a sprinkler which is attached at gallery 5. Okay. So now if I turn on a sprinkler which is attached at gallery 2, then it will be able to sprinkle from a range of 0 to 4, right? Because the range of sprinkle which is attached at gallery 2 is 2, so the range will vary from 0 to 4, this particular range, right? And the sprinkle which is attached at gallery 5 can power itself or can water itself, right? So in this way we will be able to sprinkle the entire gallery, and the length of this, if you see the length of the or the number of a sprinkle which we need to turn on in this particular case is 2. So thereby we are going to return 2 for this particular case. Okay, I hope the problem statement is clear by now. So that's about the problem statement, folks. Now let us look at the solution for this. So the way we will be able to solve this problem is basically, what can we do is, let us take the same example. So n is equals to 6, which is given to us, and the gallery array which is given to us consists of 6 elements, and the value is basically -1, 2, 2, -1, 0, and 0. So what we are going to do is basically, in this particular case, is we are going to have an array. Okay, so we are going to take an auxiliary space here, and let us say that represents the range of the sprinklers. Okay, range of individual sprinklers which is installed in the gallery. Okay, so that is what we will store in this auxiliary space, which is which we are denoting by sprinkler range. So let us see what will be the content of this array. So -1 simply means the sprinkler is not installed. So if there isn't any sprinkler installed, we will not make any entry in this particular array. If there is a sprinkler installed, then we are going to write the range of that sprinkler in this array. So let me just write down the indexes as well. So let me just use this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So let me write down the entries. What will be the entries of this? So for 0, there isn't any entry. For 1, sprinkler 1, we have a sprinkler attached to it whose range is 2. So that simply means it will be able to -1 to, the range is basically from -1 to all the way till 3. Okay, so that is the first element of this sprinkler range. The second entry will be, so now we are at here at this position. Okay, so from here again the range is basically 2 minus 2, which is 0, and 2 plus 2, which is 4. Okay, the third is -1, so we will not make an entry for this. This is 0, so what we are going to do is, it will be able to sprinkle itself, so that is 4, 4. And this is 5, so it will be able to sprinkle itself, which is 5, 5. Okay, so this is how the sprinkler range array will look like, right? So the first element simply means the starting or the start of the range, and the last element simply means the end of the range. All right, so once we have this with us, what we are going to do is, we are going to iterate. Let me just write it down over here. Iterate on the galleries. Okay, on the gallery. So let me just say that, like, I equals to 0 to all the way till, sorry about this, all the way till n. Okay, or n minus 1 if you want to have inclusive over there. Okay, so I equals to 0 to n minus 1. Now what we are going to check is, basically we are going to check, is it possible, is it possible to sprinkle ith gallery, right? So the first thing which we are going to find out is, basically I am at ith gallery. Is it possible for me to sprinkle ith gallery or not? Okay, and the way we are going to find it out is, basically we will look into our sprinkle range array, and we are going to check whether ith can be sprinkled using the sprinklers we have attached. And the way we are going to do is, basically we are going to say that we will be able to sprinkle it if so we are at ith gallery, right? So if the ith gallery is less than or equals to sprinklers range, we'll go over an example as well. Okay, not a problem. And let me call it, we are iterating on sprinklers as well, and let us say it is using jth counter, j and 1, and this is s and r is simply sprinklers range, and j comma 0. Okay, so what it simply means is, basically, let us say we are at ith gallery. Okay, and let's take an example here. So I is equals to 0. Now we are going to check whether I equals to 0 or the 0th gallery can be sprinkled using the various sprinklers which we have. Okay, and to do so, what we are going to do is, basically, we are going to say j is equals to 0. So we will iterate on the sprinklers range array, and we are going to check whether, so the first entry of a sprinkler range is -1 to 3. Okay, that's the range, and clearly I is equals to 0. 0 lie between the range of -1 and 3, right? So, and this is what I am trying to write it down over here. If it lies in the range, then we are going to say, then we are sure that we will be able to sprinkle it. Let us say in the case where we are not able to sprinkle it, so we have exhausted the sprinkler range and we are not able to find an entry in which I is in the range of a sprinkler, I is in this range. In such cases, we can say that we are not able to sprinkle this particular gallery, and since we are not able to sprinkle this gallery, so we are going to return -1. Okay, if we are not able to sprinkle that gallery, only in that case we are going to return -1, which says that we will not be able to completely sprinkle all the galleries. Okay, all right, so now till this point we have understood that we will be able to sprinkle the gallery. Okay, now once we have identified that we will be able to sprinkle a gallery, we are going to check the maximum range sprinkle, or we are going to find out the maximum range sprinkle such that it sprinkles the ith gallery and its range is maximum. Okay, so let me just write it down. So what we are going to find out is, basically, so far we know that ith gallery can be sprinkled. This we know, right? Since we have reached this position, so we know that ith gallery can be sprinkled. Now what we are going to find out is, basically, find the max range such that ith gallery can be sprinkled. Okay, let me just write it down over here. Sprinkle. So let me explain what do I mean by this. So let us take this example. So here, so we have, this is what we have as of now, and our objective is to find the maximum range. So we wanted to sprinkle I equals to 0 or 0th gallery, and we want to find the maximum range, and this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. Okay, now clearly the max here, if you see this particular, so this can, so let us first identify what all can sprinkle the ith gallery. So this can sprinkle the ith gallery, right? 0th, right? Because 0 is in the range of -1 to 3. Similarly, this can sprinkle the 0th gallery because 0 to 4 is the 0 lies in the range of 0 to 4. These two, second and third entry, we will not be able to sprinkle it using second and third sprinkle. We will not be able to water the 0th gallery. Okay, now between 0 and 1, if you see between 0 and 1, the maximum range, or how far right can we go, right? So if you see that with the 0th sprinkle, the max I can go is till 3, right? whereas with the first, the max I can go is till 4. So of these two sprinklers, clearly if I choose this sprinkle, okay, if I choose this sprinkle, then I will be able to cover maximum ground. Alright, and that is why we are going to say that I am going to turn on this sprinkle, right? So first thing which I am going to do is that for I equals to 0, I am going to turn on this particular sprinkle. Alright, now once I have turned on this sprinkle, then I know that from 0 to 4 all the galleries are sprinkled. So now the next gallery which we need to check is basically I is equals to 5th. Okay, so this is what we have to understand, is that when I am iterating on the galleries, the increment in the gallery will not be linear. It will be depending upon the sprinkle range array which we have. And in this particular, since we have sprinkled 0 to 4 galleries, so the next thing which we are going to look for, or the next gallery which we are going to look for, is 5th gallery. Okay, so we will check for 5th gallery what is the, so the same thing we will do for 5th gallery. Again we will check whether 5th gallery can be sprinkled. If the 5th gallery can be sprinkled, then we will see what is the maximum range which we can find it out, and then we are going to return it. Okay, so in order to complete this example, when we have identified that I equals to 0, 0th gallery can be sprinkled and the maximum range is this, then we will have an answer counter, and we are going to increase the answer counter by 1. So the answer counter will be 1. Initially the value is 0 and we are going to increase it. That simply denotes that so far I have turned on only one sprinkle. Okay, then I will have I equals to 5, and then I'm going to see whether the 5th gallery can be sprinkled or not, right? And remember, like 0 and 4th, we have find it out over here. So now we don't have to, when we are iterating on I equals to 5, we don't really have to look into this array. Okay, we don't have to look into this array. We have already iterated till this position, so we don't have to look at this array. Rather than that, we have to just focus on this array. Okay, so when I is equals to 5 and we will start our sprinkler iteration from here, we will see that 5 is not in this range. Then we will go to the next element, we will see 5 is in this range, right? So then we are able to say that we will be able to sprinkle the 5th gallery. Once we have sprinkled the 5th gallery, we are going to check what is the maximum range. Now since in this particular case there is just one range, so this will be 5 and 5. Okay, and then once we have found it, then we are going to increase our answer by 1. So in this particular case it is 2, and after increasing it to 2, we saw that we have sprinkled all the galleries, so we are going to return answer. Okay, let's take one more example to make the concept more clear. So let us take another example over here, or let us just take two examples. One example where the case is satisfied or we are able to sprinkle it, and the other case where we are not able to sprinkle it. So let's just take the first one, where we are not able to sprinkle all the galleries. Okay, so here in this particular case n is equals to 9 and the elements are 2, 3, 4, -1, 2, 0, 0, -1 and 0. Okay, and let us write down the indexes as well, and 8, and let's use our sprinkler range array. So the first is 2, so this will be, the range will be what? Let me just use a different thing here. -2 to 2, right? Here it is 1 minus 3 is -2 and 1 plus 3 is 4. Here it will be -2, so for minus 2 to 2 plus 4 is 6. Okay, in this particular case we are not able to sprinkle, so now here, so here the range is, that is the right. So 4 minus 2 is 2 and 4 plus 2 is 6. Okay, and here the ranges are itself, so 5 to 5 and 6 to 6, and then we have, so 7 is not possible, 8 to 8. Okay, let's just have it like this. So this is what we have. Now let us look at the condition. So we want to sprinkle the first gallery, which is 0th gallery. Okay, so 0th gallery can be sprinkled, which we can find it out from the first element of the SR array, which is sprinkle range array. Now what is the maximum range which we can find out? Well, the maximum range is this, isn't it? Right, the maximum range can be this, right? So the maximum range is this. So now, let us just increase our answer by 1, right? And once we have find it out, now the I value will be is equals to 6 plus 1. So till 6 we have sprinkled. Now we want to check for 7. Okay, now we will look whether we can sprinkle 7 from this position onward, right? Remember, this we have already iterated on, or this will not be relevant anymore, right? I hope that is clear. Like this portion will not be relevant. We just have to rely on this portion. Okay, so I is equals to 7. Now clearly 7, is there any range in which 7 can lie? So 2 to 6, 7 is not here. 5 to 5, 7 is not here. 6 to 6, 7 is not here. 8 to 8, 7 is not here. So what happens is, basically we have iterated on all the SR elements of SR array, but we still are not able to sprinkle the 7th galleries. So in this particular case we are going to return -1. Okay, so that's about the second example. Now let us go through the third example, and then we will look into the coding section. So in the third example, n is equals to 9, and the gallery array which we have is basically contains 9 elements, and those 9 elements are 2, 3, 4, -1, and then 5 zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and let's just write down the indexes as well: 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And let us construct our SR array. So let me just have it like this, and let us see. So the first is 2, so clearly, so the range here is -2 to 2. Here the range will be -2 to 4, right? Here the range is -2 to 6. Here there isn't here, and for all other cases this is 4 to 4. I'm sorry, this is 4 to 4. Let me just write it down like this. Other 5 to 5, 6 to 6, 7 to 7, and 8 to 8. Okay, now we are at I equals to 0. So 0th gallery. So clearly from the first element itself we are able to find out that 0th gallery can be sprinkled. Now what is the maximum range? Well, the maximum range can be given by this particular entry, right? So the maximum range is this. So we are going to increase our answer by 1. So answer becomes 1. And for the next iteration, the value of I will be equals to 6. And we are going to look from here onwards. Okay. So I is equals to 6. And we check that I is equals to 6. So we saw that this is the, from this element we are able to ensure that we will be able to water, or we will be able to sprinkle gallery 6. And what is the maximum range? Well, the maximum range will be given by this itself. So we are going to increase our answer by 1, and that becomes 7. And since we are here, so till 6th we are clear, right? Till 6th we are sure we will be able to water. So now we'll be looking for 7. Again 7 also it is able to sprinkle it, and the range will be given by this, right? So we are going to increase our answer by 1, and that becomes 2, and then we will be have I equals to 7 plus 1, which is 8. This again will be given by this, and then our answer is here 3, and this is what we are going to return. So that's about the explanation, folks. Now let's jump to the coding section and let's see how we will be able to code it. So I've already coded it, folks. Now let me just go over the code. So what we did is basically we have our SR array with us, a sprinkles range array, and what we are going to do is basically we are going to populate the range, right? So range will be given by I minus gallery of I to I plus gallery of I, and if it is equals to -1, we are going to move to the next element. Okay, so far the sprinklers range has been sorted, or we have populated our sprinklers range, and then we have to sort it. Okay, so we will sort this array. Once we have sorted it, then the ith counter and jth counter will be there. Ith counter is to from gallery. What all galleries we have sprinkled so far is something which we will be iterating using ith variable, and jth is for on the sprinkler range array. Okay, and the answer holds our answer to the problem. So first we are going to check whether the ith gallery can be sprinkled or not. Okay, so initially found equals to false, which simply means right so far we are not able to sprinkle it, and using this loop we will find it out whether we will be able to sprinkle it or not, right? And the way we do it is basically we will check whether I is in a range or not, or is in the sprinklers range or not. If there isn't exist any sprinkler range element for which I is in the range, then the found variable will not be set to true, and if found variable is not set to true, then we are not able to sprinkle, and that is why we are going to return -1. Okay, now let us say if we have not returned -1, that simply means we have found, or we will be able to sprinkle the ith gallery. Now we are going to check the maximum range. So the way we will be able to check the maximum range is basically k equals to j. So j is simply at which position I have found the first range which fulfills the condition, and the condition is basically I is in the range, right? So k is equals to j, and which position we have filled, and this position is basically at which position I will be I am about to find the maximum range sprinkler. Okay, so let me just go over here to explain this portion. So as you can see, there are two variables which I am using, k and j. So k is basically so position is basically, so let us understand position first. So I is equals to 0 for this particular case. The max range sprinklers which we have found out is this -2 and 6, and what is the position, right? So the position is 0, 1, 2, so the second position, right? So that is what the position variable holds. Okay, and the k is basically, so when we are trying to find out whether ith gallery can be sprinkled or not, so with that loop, this particular when we will be here, then itself that condition will be satisfied, or basically with this element itself we can conclude that ith gallery can be sprinkled. So that is what j represents. Okay, and from j to here position, and from j we will be able to find out the position. Okay, so let's go back. So this is how we are going to find out, like j, and then we are checking whether this sprinkler we are able to sprinkle using the kth sprinkler, whether I'm able to sprinkle the ith is a gallery or not, right? If I'm able to do so, then I'm checking what is the maximum range, right? So basically the maximum element we are trying to find it out. So the maximum element will be here, and then the maximum range is something which will be stored in this variable, and for the next iteration I want I equals to, so far till max range I was able to sprinkle it. Now from max range plus 1 I need to sprinkle it. So that is what I equals to max range plus 1 signifies. J is equals to position plus 1. So remember where I was mentioning this, let me just go back here. 1 second. Yeah, so remember, like I was mentioning that when I am at so we are sure that till 6, because of this particular entry we are sure that till 6th gallery we will be able to sprinkle it. And for the next I have to look for 7th gallery, and for 7th gallery I have to start from here, right? I have to start from here. So that is what jth, when we are updating the jth counter, that is what it takes care of. J is equals to position plus 1 and answer equals to answer plus 1, since we were able to sprinkle it. Okay, and towards the end we have returned answer. So let us submit the solution. So our solution got accepted. So that's about the video, folks. If you have any question or query regarding this video, please feel free to use the comment section and I'll try to address them. Thank you.